Elena, 64 years old, went to bed last night convinced that she was healthy. She never woke up. Her heart stopped silently at 3 in the morning. But the terrible truth is that Elena didn't die suddenly. Her body had been screaming at her for weeks that she was in mortal danger. The problem was that she was looking for pain in her chest when the warning signs were actually in her legs. Elena felt that specific discomfort when getting into bed and made the fatal mistake of thinking, it's just age-related stuff. I want to be brutally honest with you from the very first second. Your legs are your second heart. They are the exact mirror of your arteries. If something goes wrong down there, it means your heart is on the brink of collapse. Ignoring these symptoms is like playing Russian roulette with your life. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal to you the 6 critical signs in your legs that predict a silent heart attack. The number 1 sign is exactly the one Elena overlooked. I beg you to pay attention. Recognizing this today could save your life tonight. Let's start with the sign that cost Elena her life and is, without a doubt, the most ignored by all of us after age 60. Having cold feet even when you're under the blankets or in the middle of summer. I want you to touch your feet right now. Are they cold to the touch? Many people mistakenly assume this is a normal part of aging or just poor circulation. But there's a crucial difference between having cool feet and what doctors call ischemic coldness. What's really happening inside you? Imagine your arteries as highways through which oxygen-rich blood travels from your heart to your toes. Over the years, cholesterol and calcium form plaques that narrow these highways. This is called atherosclerosis. Since your feet are the part of the body farthest from the heart, they're the first to suffer when traffic gets blocked. If blood doesn't reach your feet strongly, they stay cold. But here's the deadly danger. If your leg arteries are clogged, it's almost certain that your heart and brain arteries are too. It's a systemic disease. Manuel put on socks because he felt cold, but the problem wasn't the room temperature. The problem was that blood wasn't reaching anymore. His heart was working 3 times harder to try to pump blood through those clogged pipes until, exhausted, it stopped during sleep. The fact you need to know: medical studies indicate that people with peripheral artery disease, PAD, which is the technical name for this problem, are up to 6 times more likely to die from a cardiac event than those who don't have it. Your cold feet are like the check engine light in your car. If you cover it with a sock and ignore it, the engine ends up breaking. How to differentiate it from simple cold? Pay attention to this. If you notice one foot is much colder than the other, or if you feel pain in your calves when walking that magically disappears when you stop, claudication, your body is on red alert. Another clear sign is if, when you elevate your legs in bed, your feet quickly turn pale white. That means gravity is overpowering your blood pressure. Vital practical advice. Please don't try to warm your feet with boiling water bags or very hot electric pads, especially if you have diabetes, as you could burn yourself without feeling it. What you need isn't external heat, it's internal flow. Before moving on to the next sign, which has to do with swelling, I want to ask you, do you feel your feet are cold at night? Give this a like right now if you've ever had to sleep with socks because of the cold. I want to know how many of us are at risk. Give it a thumbs up. Sign number 2, swelling that leaves a mark, peripheral edema. Let's move on to a sign that's visible to the naked eye, but that we often rationalize with dangerous excuses. I want you to ask yourself this question. Have you ever taken off your socks at night and seen a deep mark on your skin that takes a long time to disappear? Or worse, have you noticed that at the end of the day, your ankles seem to have disappeared, merging with your calf like a block? Many of us blame the heat, walking a lot, salty food, or simply say, I'm retaining fluids. And while it can sometimes be benign in people over 60, this constant swelling, known medically as peripheral edema, is usually the silent cry of a heart that's wearing out. Think of your heart as a hydraulic pump. Its job isn't just to send oxygenated blood downward, but to have enough strength to suck it back upward against gravity. When the right side of your heart weakens, a condition called congestive heart failure, it loses that return force. The result is a traffic jam in your veins. Blood pools in your feet and ankles, and fluid leaks into the surrounding tissues due to pressure. It's not just water, it's the physical proof that your main pump is failing. The finger test, do it tonight. There's a quick way to tell if it's normal swelling or a cardiac warning sign. It's called the pitting test. Press firmly with your thumb on the swollen part of your ankle or shin where the bone is for about 5 seconds. When you release, observe closely. If the skin bounces back immediately, it's a good sign. But if a pit or marked indentation remains that takes several seconds to fill in, that's a serious clinical alert. Your body isn't draining. Rosa, a 66-year-old woman, ignored that mark on her ankles for months. She thought it was normal from standing a lot while cooking. She only went to the ER when one night she felt like she was drowning while lying in bed. What happened? Her heart was so weak that the fluid was no longer just pooling in her legs, but had started to flood her lungs. If she had listened to the warning from her ankles in time, she would have avoided a critical ICU admission. Practical advice: if you notice this swelling, there's an enemy in your kitchen you must eliminate today. Salt. Sodium acts like a magnet for water, increasing blood volume and forcing your heart to work twice as hard. And remember, if pressing your ankle leaves a mark, it's not just age-related, it's your heart asking for a checkup. Sign number 3, night cramps and the banana lie. This third sign is perhaps the most painful of all. It's that brutal sensation that wakes you up at 4 in the morning. A sharp, sudden pain in the calf, like an animal biting your muscle. Your calves get hard as rocks and you're paralyzed in bed waiting for it to pass. If you tell this to a friend or neighbor, they'll almost certainly say, "That's because you're low on potassium, eat a banana." Or take a magnesium supplement. And while they're sometimes right in people over 60, relying only on bananas can be a fatal mistake. When your leg arteries are severely blocked by cholesterol plaques, atherosclerosis, your muscles go into panic. During the day, while walking, gravity helps blood flow down to the legs. But when you lie down in bed to sleep, you lose gravity's help. If your pipes are clogged, oxygenated blood stops reaching the calf and foot muscles. The muscle literally starts to suffocate from lack of oxygen. Its reaction? It contracts violently. That's not a simple cramp, it's a cry for help from your muscle tissue, suffering what doctors call ischemic rest pain. The litmus test? The gravity test. Here's the key to knowing if your cramp is benign or a sign of an imminent heart attack. Pay close attention. When the cramp or pain hits, do you feel immediate relief if you hang your leg out of bed and let it dangle toward the floor? If the answer is yes, it's a red alert. By lowering the leg, you're helping gravity push blood through the blocked arteries. If you need to do this to sleep, your arteries are in a critical situation, and the risk of a cardiovascular event is extremely high. Don't ignore this. Elena, our protagonist, thought her cramps were from not walking enough. She applied magnesium creams every night, masking the real symptom while her arteries closed more and more. Don't make the same mistake. If the pain wakes you up and improves when you sit up, don't go to the fruit store for bananas. Go to the cardiologist or vascular surgeon. Do you know someone who always complains about leg cramps? Share this video with that person right now. You could be saving their life with this simple fact. Click share and send it via WhatsApp. It's a small gesture that matters a lot. Sign number 4, loss of hair and waxy skin. This fourth sign is tricky because at first glance, it might seem like something positive. Many men and women over a certain age notice that over the years, the hair on their legs, especially on the shins and near the ankles, starts to disappear. No more need to shave, or the hair becomes so fine it's invisible. We often think, well, one less hassle, it's normal with aging. But I want you to look at your legs right now under good light. Is that absence of hair accompanied by skin that shines in a strange way? The skin looks tight, very thin, almost like plastic or wax. Your body's survival logic. To understand why this is dangerous, you have to think of your body as an economist in times of crisis. When your arteries are obstructed and blood flow is limited, arterial insufficiency, your body has to make tough decisions about where to send the little oxygen that arrives. Priority, muscles and bones so you can keep moving. Dispensable hair and skin. Hair follicles need a constant supply of nutrients to grow. If your arteries are closing, your body cuts off supply to the follicles to preserve the vital. The loss of hair on the legs isn't aesthetic. It's a clinical sign of cellular starvation. The danger of shiny skin. That shine you see isn't health or hydration, it's atrophy. The skin becomes thin and fragile because the subcutaneous fat layers are being lost due to poor circulation. This is extremely dangerous because such thin skin breaks with the slightest rub, and since there's no good blood to heal the wound, that small scrape can turn into an ulcer that doesn't close, which we'll see in the next point. Elena, unfortunately, joked with her friends about how smooth her legs were lately. "They look like porcelain," she said. She didn't know that porcelain was evidence that her peripheral arteries were collapsing. If you have bald, shiny legs and also suffer from high blood pressure or cholesterol, your body is telling you the blood pathway is blocked. Observation advice. Compare your legs to your arms. If on your arms the hair and skin are still normal but your legs look shaved and shiny, the discrepancy is a clear vascular sign. Don't celebrate it as a convenience. Consult it as a symptom. Sign number 5. Silent wounds, the cut that never heals. We reach a critical point. This sign is the border between a sick artery and an absolute medical emergency. I ask you a simple question. Do you have any small wound, cut, scrape, or blister on your foot that's been there for more than 2 weeks without improving? Sometimes it's something as silly as a cut while trimming your nails, or a rub from a new shoe. You cover it with a bandage, wait for it to heal, but days pass and the wound stays the same or worse. It starts changing color. The mechanics of disaster. For a wound to heal, your body needs to send an urgent repair team to the area. White blood cells to fight infection, platelets to close the cut, and oxygen to regenerate tissue. All these building materials travel through the blood. If you have peripheral artery disease, the roads are cut off. The repair team never reaches your foot. The wound stays open, defenseless against bacteria. This is especially terrifying if you have diabetes, but it also happens in people who only have high cholesterol or smoke. An open wound is a direct entry door for serious infections that can reach the bone, osteomyelitis, or enter the bloodstream, sepsis. When this happens, your heart, which is already weak trying to pump blood through clogged arteries, receives a brutal stress hit from the systemic infection. Many times, the heart attack doesn't come from the wound itself, but from the superhuman effort the body makes trying to fight an infection it can't win. The tragedy of the small blister. Going back to Elena's case, she noticed a small dark spot on her heel weeks before passing away. She thought it was a bruise or a dried blood blister. It didn't hurt because her nerves were also damaged, so she didn't go to the doctor. That spot was the start of a necrotic ulcer, dead tissue. Survival advice: after age 60, flexibility decreases, and sometimes we can't see the soles of our feet well. Use a mirror. Place a mirror on the floor and check the soles of your feet and between your toes every week. If you see something that doesn't heal in 10 to 14 days, it's not a wound, it's a vascular alert. Diabetes is the #1 accomplice in this problem. Comment below the word prevent if you'd like us to make a specific video on how to care for diabetic feet to avoid amputations. Your comment helps us decide the next topic. Sign number 6. The deadly traffic light. Color changes. We arrive at the last sign, and it's perhaps the most visually striking. Your feet shouldn't behave like chameleons. If you notice they change color drastically depending on whether you're lying down or standing, your circulatory system is screaming for help. I want you to observe your feet. A healthy foot should have a pinkish tone or match your natural skin tone regardless of position. But when arteries are blocked, a phenomenon occurs that doctors call Buerger's sign, and it works like a danger traffic light. 1. Cadaveric pallor when elevated. Do the test tonight. Lie down in bed and elevate your legs about 45 degrees. Prop them on several pillows for a minute. If the soles of your feet turn white like a sheet of paper or a waxy yellowish color, it's a very serious sign. Why does it happen? Because your heart doesn't have enough strength to pump blood uphill through obstructed arteries. Gravity drains the blood from the foot, and no new blood arrives to replace it. It's literally a foot temporarily losing life. 2. Fire red or purple when lowered. Now sit on the edge of the bed and let your feet dangle. If they suddenly turn an intense red, almost brick-like or purplish, it's not because you have too much blood, it's the opposite. This is called dependent rubor. When you lower the leg, gravity hits hard and blood floods the dilated vessels that were starving for oxygen. It's an emergency inflammatory reaction. Elena's final mistake: Elena had noticed her feet turning purple when she sat watching TV. She bought creams for varicose veins, thinking it was a superficial vein problem. It was a fatal misdiagnosis. It wasn't her veins, it was her deep arteries that were failing. That purple color indicated her tissues were on the brink of necrosis, cell death. Practical advice: if you see one foot much paler than the other or that bluish tone in the toes, cyanosis, don't wait until tomorrow. Cyanosis means oxygen has stopped arriving. It's the prelude to a heart attack or gangrene. Hearing what happened to Elena is painful, I know, but I want you to take this away. You're here. You now have the most powerful tool to save your life, something she didn't have: information. Elena thought her cold feet, cramps, and color changes were just age-related things. Now you know the truth. They were cries for help from her heart. Your body is a perfect machine that almost always warns before failing. Don't silence those alarms by covering them with a sock. If you've recognized any of these 6 symptoms today, don't panic, but do take action. Go to the doctor, ask for a vascular checkup, and show them your legs. That simple visit can give you 10 or 20 more years of full life with your grandchildren. I don't want to lose anyone from this community to something preventable. That's why, if this video has opened your eyes, do 2 things for me. First, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell. In the next video, I'll reveal the 5 foods that clean your arteries while you sleep, and I assure you, you won't want to miss it. Second, share this. Give it a like so YouTube shows this warning to more older people. Remember, knowledge is life. The power to care for your heart is now literally at your feet. Until next time. Yeah,